Are you learning HTML as a beginner and you want to know all about the HTML image tag, what it is and how to use it in a real project? If so, you're in the right place. Hi, Martin here from MDP Web Development. Today we'll be working on a project that we'll use as a reference project throughout the Web Development for Beginners playlist. Don't forget to check out the playlist from the start to get a better understanding of HTML and our reference project. It's updated each week with new videos. Be sure to stick around to the end to see how to get the project files on GitHub to use throughout this playlist. I'll link to important videos there also. There's a link in the description down below to the GitHub repository where all the source code is. Let's get started. Before we go on, be sure to watch the Visual Studio Code Editor video. It explains how to get and set up VS Code for use in the Web Development for Beginners playlist. And also watch the video on creating your first web page. I'll link to them in the description below. Here's a summary to get you started. First, create a folder on your desktop and call it Reference Project. Next, download and install Visual Studio Code Editor for your operating system from the link in the description. Open VS Code, then open this folder and create a new file called index.html. In the file content, type an exclamation mark and hit enter. This should create a new standard document for you. Open the file from the desktop folder and it should be a blank page as we have not put any content in it yet. If you get stuck, just watch these videos first. Images are a very important part of websites. So there's an image element we must use for the browser to render them on our web pages. The image element is simply called img. So the image element would be written like less than symbol, img, and greater than symbol. We can see here the first main attribute is the source. This tells us where the image is actually located. And if we see the source, it goes img for the folder called img in our project / me.jpg, a picture of me. Next, we have the alt tag, which is also needed for the image. The alt tag gives a text representation of what the image actually is, in case the image is not available for Google. So the screen readers can still read out loud what the picture is about. The width tag must also be specified. This tells the browser the width of the image. It prevents page flicker when the image hasn't loaded if there's no width attribute, and then once the page loads with the image, there'll be a big move in the page and annoy the flicker. The height attribute must also be specified. Width and height together gives a placeholder for the image to let the web browser know to expect an image, so the page doesn't jump once the image loads. To use the images for this project, you must go to the GitHub link in the description below and download them, then copy them into the reference project folder on your desktop. So to download the image files to use with this section of the video, just go to the GitHub link in the description of this video. When you're there, then you can see here the green button for code. If you click that, and you'll see down on the bottom download zip. This will download all the code for this web development playlist. And once it's downloaded, then go to your downloads folder. And on Windows, I can right click and go extract all. And here we can see the code files. So we're going to go in through the various folders into basic HTML. And we can see here section 4 is the hyperlinks. So we can just click on this here and click copy. Then we're going to go to our desktop and into the reference project we've created already. And just click paste. We can see here now, when we edit the index and examples page, they'll be able to link to the images directory. You can see here we have images in this directory. Hi, before we move on, please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Thank you. So now we're going to open Visual Studio Code and our project and a browser window on the right to preview our project. It's going to go to our desktop and double click on Visual Studio Code. Then we're going to go to the Explorer view and open folder. And mine is on the desktop, so I'm going to go Desktop, Reference Project, select Folder. And here we can see we have our HTML file. If we open the browser view, we can see the reference project folder and the index.html file we created. Now to see the browser window on the right, if you have the live server extension installed, you'll see Go Live button down here on the bottom. And if you haven't, you just have to go out to your desktop, open the folder, and click on the index.html file. So once you've clicked on that file, we're just going to click this Go Live button here. And that'll start up a new browser server window for us. So a handy shortcut for Windows to put something on the left and right is to press the Windows key and then right or left arrow and release the Windows key. Then select the one you want on the left or right. So I'll close this panel. So another handy shortcut for Windows is the zoom key. If you press CTRL, then the plus to zoom in and negative to zoom out. So we can see here we have our Windows browser on the right. So the only difference if we had to open this manually on the desktop and click on the file is if we make changes on the left in our code editor, you would have to click refresh on the right to see it. So let's go ahead and put the images into our Web Development for Beginners reference project. So we go inside the body here and we put in our first image, which is the banner image on top of the website. Now this image is in our IMG folder on our desktop project. So in VS Code, once you've installed some extensions, a handy shortcut is just to go IMG for image, then hit enter. And we can see VS Code auto-completed the image tag with the source and also the alt attribute. Now for the source for this image, we know it's in the IMG folder, so we're going to go IMG /, and we can see here VS Code just auto-completed the images that it found inside that folder. And we can see on the top there, the first one selected by default is the banner image. So if we hit enter, we have the banner image, and we can now see it on the right hand side in our server preview window. If you can't see it on the right, just click refresh on the top of the browser. So the alt for this image, we can call it this. We can say something general like this is the banner image. And now we need to set the width and the height for this image in the reference project. So the width and the height for the image are in pixels. And here's how we can find that out. We can go to our desktop, open up the folder where we have the images. And in Windows, if you hover over the banner image, you can see here the dimensions. The file type is JPG, JPEG. You can see the dimensions are 1900 by 150. So we go and set the width for 1900 and the height for 150. So if you type width and hit enter, VS Code auto-completes the brackets. So we go 1900 wide. And now we're going to go height and hit enter of 150. Then we click save or go file save. And if you don't see the preview on the right, just click refresh. And just to show how this works, we'll say we went into the height here, and instead of 150 pixels, we just put in 15 pixels, and the browser will resize the image, and of course it will be distorted. So we always have to make sure we have exactly the right dimensions. So let's set the height to 15 pixels by removing the 0. Now we can see our header image, our banner image is distorted. So let's put it back to 150 pixels high. Now let's go ahead now and put in the next image, which is in the web development HTML section. So I'll just scroll down here. We can see here's the H2 with ID of HTML, the HTML reference section. So we're going to go just underneath that. And again, we'll insert the image here for HTML. So again, just go img for the image tag and hit enter. And vscode autocompletes the source and the alt tag. So now let's put in the source image here. So we know it's in the img folder in our reference project. So we type img and then /. And we can see again vscode is auto-completed the images that are found in that folder. So we're just going to scroll down to the html image.jpg and hit enter. Now we can see we have the HTML JPEG image. So now let's go to our alt tag and we'll just type in there, this is the main HTML image, or just HTML main image. And now we have to set the width and the height for this one. So this one is slightly different. So let's go back to our folder. We'll hover over the HTML image. And we can see here the dimensions are 190 by 200 pixels this time. So let's go ahead and put the width to 190 and the height to 200. Just type width and hit enter. 1900. And height 200. And just to test this works, we just remove one of the zeros from the height for 200 and have the height 20 pixels. And we can see there the image is skewed, so let's put that back again. Again, make sure you save your project by going File Save or Ctrl and S on Windows. And if you can't see the preview on the right, just click Refresh in the browser. So now let's go ahead and put the next image using the same process down underneath the CSS reference H2, which we can see here. So again, we go img, then hit enter, and vscode will autocomplete. And we're going to go to the folder, which we have called img, and / to signify it's a folder. And here, once again, we can see vscode is autocompleted the images are found in that folder. So now we're going to scroll down to CSS image and hit enter. And I'll just zoom out on the project here in the browser window to see our CSS image. There we have it. So now let's fill in the alt tag. We can say something like main CSS image. And we'll go back now and just double check the width and the height for this image. Again, we hover over this image in the image folder. We can see the dimensions are 1900 wide and 200 tall. So let's go ahead and set that. Width 1900. Height 200. And Ctrl and S or File Save on Windows and refresh on the right hand side if you don't see the changes. So now let's go down and put in the last image, which is the JavaScript one. So we go down to the H2 for JavaScript here. And we go just underneath that. So again, we're going to go img for the image tag and hit enter. And we're going to look in our image folder. So go img, we've called the folder that, and /. Now again, we can see VS Code auto-completed the images found. So we'll scroll down to the JavaScript image and hit enter. And we'll just have a look here. I'll scroll down in the project to see if the JavaScript image is there. There it is. Again, let's fill in the alt for the JavaScript image. And again, let's go back and check the dimensions to be sure. So we'll hover over the JavaScript image. And we can see here it's 1900 by 200. So let's go back and put that in. So width, and hit enter, 1900. Then the height, 200 pixels. We can see there we have the JavaScript image. Hi, I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please like, share, comment and subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos in the Web Development for Beginners playlist. See you next time.